Welcome to the Golf Report podcast. Today I'm joined by business owner and professional golfer Zoe Walker. Zoe, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
Good. Thanks for taking the time to do this interview. Just tell me, where are you at and, how have things been going lately?
Yeah, things have been going well. I've taken a little bit of a gap from golf after graduating from Georgia,
Okay.
focusing on my business and also my real estate path. So yeah, just in a the last 18 months has been a little bit of a transition stage.
Cool. So getting into your start in golf and where you grew up. So you grew up in Palm Desert, California. So just tell
hmm
me about growing up in Palm Desert, California, and what hobbies and activities were you involved in growing up?
Yeah, growing up we moved there. My parents moved there when I was about 2 years old. So I was in California through 2 years old to like 17 and surrounded by golf, but didn't pick up golf until later. But, it was somewhere where the sun was always shining. It was 75 degrees in February, and some activities we would do is hiking. I would bike ride a lot with my dad, but never golf. Golf came later on in the story.
Nice. Yeah, I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. Do you still currently live in California?
I don't. I'm currently now in Alabama. So
Okay.
when I went to Georgia, my parents decided to move kind of close, so they chose Alabama. So that's now where I call home.
Okay, so you just live there because your parents live there? Is that
Correct. Yes.
okay? Well, so how's Alabama? How's that going?
It's different. I love the South. The Southern hospitality is nice. Definitely different in the winter. Everything goes dormant. The leaves fall off the trees. It's not as sunny as Southern California, but I love Alabama. It's great.
As you mentioned, you got a late start in golf. You started playing, as a sophomore in high school. So, what prompted you to get into golf? How was it, getting into golf as a sophomore and, in general, how did you get started playing golf? Just tell me about that.
Yeah, so like I said, I was surrounded by golf courses my whole life. I believe I want to say 128, maybe more at this point, golf courses in the Coachella Valley where I grew up, but never touched golf. It was always kind of like what the old people would do, or like, the retired people.
Mhm.
Um, but one Sunday, I'm probably going to get this wrong. I think it was the 2014 Masters tournament when Bubba Watson won. I don't know the year. I think it was 2014. My dad and I were watching it. I was actually a cheerleader my freshman year of high school. And I was watching golf with my dad, had no interest in golf whatsoever, was just sitting there, kind of just there. And my dad was just like, "Hey, Zoe, like, don't you think, or wouldn't you want to like try golf?" And I'm like, "Ew, no, dad, never golf, not playing golf. Absolutely not. Like, I'm a cheerleader." Um, but somehow he convinced me. He told me that golf would serve me longer in life, and all the checkpoints that a dad would say to his daughter to try to get her to play golf. And so I promised my dad I would take a lesson, play golf, and try it for one season in high school. And that was kind of the rest was history. I fell in love with the game. We got my first set of clubs, and yeah, I don't remember anything prior to that.
So I'm sure most people you're playing with, started when they were very little, but you started as a sophomore in high school. So what was it like getting started in golf, very late growing up, compared, I'm sure, to probably, the competitors and your peers you were playing with, growing up?
Yeah. I mean, high school golf, that by that time, junior golfers are, talking to colleges and they're good players. And I'm over here shooting like 123 in an 18-hole round. I was playing in the Southern California Junior Golf Association. So I was playing with girls who were like verbally committed to Stanford, UCLA. And like I said, I'm over here shooting 123 for my first couple of years in golf. So it was difficult. That's the word. It was difficult, but I wasn't discouraged. My parents were always super supportive, and I also had teammates in high school that were supportive. So it was challenging, but it was a good challenge.
So for high school, you attended Xavier Prep High School, in California. So how was your time attending Xavier Prep High School? And also, what was it like to help Xavier reach the CIF, section regional, for the first time in school history in 2016?
Yeah, so I mean, Xavier was a college preparatory high school. It was one of the only private schools in the area. So it was nice to have that like college guidance. They helped you with essay writing when it was time for SATs and sending in, college applications. So their classes were just geared more towards college prep. So that was helpful, especially as I transitioned into college. But also the golf team, the head coach, she's still there today, I believe, Debbie Koyama. She played at UCLA back when they won a national championship. And also she played on the LPGA. So that was crucial in my development in golf. I mean, she helped guide me and teach me the basics of golf.
Nice. So after Xavier, then for your first 2 years of college, you went to the College of the Desert. So tell me about your time at College of the Desert, and how you ended up attending there, for your first 2 years.
So College of the Desert was not somewhere I wanted to go. Junior college has that reputation of, oh, that's where like the high school dropouts go, or that's where you go if you don't have a plan. And so
Sure.
I was really against junior college. I did not want to go. All my friends were going to the four-year schools. They were going to TCU, University of Alabama, like all over the place. And I'm like telling people, oh, I'm going to go to the junior college. So I was a little ashamed of that at first, but it actually became the biggest and best decision I ever made, especially for golf, because I wanted to play competitive golf in college, but I wasn't ready. My game wasn't ready to play at the next level. Um, so I just took those 2 years. My dad encouraged me. My dad was always a huge support. My mom too, both my parents just encouraged me like, Zoe, I think if you really want to play golf in college and continue, this is the best stepping stone for you because it'll give you time to compete in tournaments, get better at golf, and just work on your game. Because like you said earlier, I was behind the eight ball a little bit, starting so late in the game. So it was junior college was a little bit of a stepping stone. And I don't know if you're wondering about my coach there, but Coach Erin, she's no longer there. She's coaching somewhere else, but she was also a huge resource and motivation. She really helped develop my game.
Nice. So after your time at College of the Desert for 2 years, you then, transferred to Georgia. So what drew you to Georgia? And how did you end up transferring there to Georgia? Just tell me about your journey to there.
So I wanted to play in the SEC. I fell in love with Georgia's campus when I went and visited, but
Mhm.
my coach Josh Brewer can probably attest that I bugged the heck out of him with emails, and I just kept forcing my way in.
Okay.
Every tournament I would play in junior college, I was sending him an email. Hey, coach, this is what I'm doing. Get ready, I'm coming. I want to be on your team, and just I guess persistence when I was talking to coaches. Luckily, Josh Brewer opened that door for me. I met with him in person and we did a campus tour. Like I said, I fell in love with the campus. I knew that that was where I was supposed to be, and yeah, that was kind of the process.
Given your late start, in golf, what was it like to, make it all the way to Georgia, and get to play Division I golf, given your late start in golf?
Challenging is the best word to say that.
Okay.
Uh, Yeah, I mean, the girls I was teammates with, or my teammates were some of the top recruited athletes all over the world. I mean, at one point, I believe one of them was top 8 in the world, and I was the little fish in the big pond. All of my teammates were super supportive. We all were like sisters, so never felt lesser than to them. But I mean, my game was lesser than. But it was just awesome to be able to compete with them and learn and get better. So yeah, it was challenging, and I wouldn't trade it for anything because my game developed so much under that program, even though I didn't compete for my first 2 years there. But it was great.
Did you put in a lot of hard work, or what led you to being able to play Division I golf? Given that you only started as a sophomore in high school, because I'm sure like myself, there's a lot of people who they've been playing for a long time, but they would never get to play Division I college golf. So, just tell me about what you did to, be able to, get to the level of, getting to play for Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, I think just playing a lot of tournaments and
Okay.
showing coaches that you're persistent. I think when I tell you I sent hundreds of emails, like I'm not joking. Like I was just always knocking on the door of these coaches and just updating them on my stuff. But yes, hard work in the gym, trying to get longer off the tee, practicing short game, all of those things that we do as golfers to get better is what I did.
And then you started as a sophomore in high school. When you started, would you like to practice a lot, work out a lot, or would you just like to go out there and play, and play in tournaments, what would you do mostly? Would you practice or would you just like to go play, and
Yeah.
compete in tournaments?
Right. Yeah. I was always nervous to play in tournaments, especially at the beginning in high school because I wasn't
Mm.
as good as the other girls. And that was more my parents. I mean, of course I wanted to play, but I was always nervous. So my parents pushed me like, Zoe, like you get better every time you go out there. It doesn't matter your score right now, you're doing this for experience. So I would always, and I still to this day kind of can get stuck on the range or stuck on the putting green. And really, like, it's so important to go out and play and be competitive.
So at Georgia, you were team captain. So what did it mean to you to, be team captain at Georgia? And, what were some of your roles and, duties as team captain, at Georgia? Were you helping out, and supporting, the underclassmen or, what would you
Mhm.
do as team captain? I'm interested to know.
Yeah, my when my parents dropped me off at Georgia, they knew that I was going to be the small fish in the big
Mm.
pond. And the last thing my dad said to me as he pulled out of the parking lot was, be a good teammate and outwork everybody. So that was kind of my motto, like be a good teammate, especially. And because I knew that I may not compete at this level. I may just be a good teammate. That might be my only role. But and so those first 2 years, that's what I was focused on because I was not traveling. I was focused on being a good teammate, helping the other girls when they missed a qualifier or, struggling in their classwork. So they voted me as team captain, and my roles for that was just to, make sure everyone was on time, did their stats in time. After every qualifier round, we'd need to put in our stats, make sure that was, done by 8 o'clock that night, or, reminding people we have workouts the next day. And just being somebody that the girls could come talk to, like a team of 10 girls, there's going to be qualifying drama, there's going to be this and that, but just being someone that the girls could come talk to and be a leader for them.
Nice. So I see now, after Georgia, you've gotten to compete in some amateur tournaments. So, just tell me about competing in amateur tournaments and, what tournaments do you compete in? Do you compete much these days or not too much?
I have been competing a little bit more so in the summertime when it's warmer. I did play last summer in the Alabama State event and also the Sea Island Women's Am, which is an
Okay.
amazing event. But yeah, just a little bit here and there right now.
Nice. Then we were talking, before starting the interview that, you're going to start giving, professional golf, a go,
Mhm.
upcoming soon. But, when you graduated from Georgia, did you ever consider, trying to give, professional golf a go, or did you ever consider, playing professional golf, or, was professional golf, did you not consider that when you graduated from Georgia?
No, it was definitely always in the back of my mind. I always
Mhm.
wanted to give it a go. It just
Yeah.
wasn't the right time when I
Okay.
was graduating. I
Mhm.
wanted to, take a step back, get it. I mean, I just graduated with my business degree with a concentration on commercial real estate. So I wanted to give that a go, see if there was something there, and, just take the time to reflect, like, is golf something I really want to pursue? And the question is, or the answer is yes, I do want to continue this journey in golf.
And just tell me, what professional tournaments do you hope to play in? Coming and just tell me about, giving professional golf a go. What's that going to look like for you?
So this year I'll be competing on the Women's All Pro Tour. So I believe
Okay.
the first one is down in Louisiana, and there's a whole little tour that goes around the basically kind of the middle of the country, Texas, Louisiana. They're pretty central.
Mhm. Nice. Well, I've interviewed a few WAPT players for my channel, and I'm looking to get maybe to a tournament, maybe Dallas in July or
Yeah,
Wichita, Kansas in August. So maybe I'll see you out there if I
yeah,
go to
for
one
sure.
because yeah, I've been in contact with the media coordinator for the WAPT because I interviewed her. So yeah, we've been
Awesome.
talking about maybe I'll go out to a tournament in the summer. But so yeah, as we mentioned, you're a business owner. You own Zalea's Golf, where you create golf head covers. So tell me about Zalea's Golf, your company that you own, and just how did you get started with this company?
So Zalea's makes me so happy to talk about because it's a passion. Um, I started my business as a sophomore in college. I used to work at a private club in Palm Desert, California. It was Ironwood Country Club. And I noticed that the ladies there, they would come in their cute outfits and they would want to go out and play with their 9-hole group, whatever. Like it wasn't for them as much. It wasn't as about score for them. It was about going out, having a fun time, dressing up in their cute outfits. But there was one thing I noticed was that their golf bags and head covers were lacking in style points, as I like to
Okay,
say. So I just began researching and there was nothing out there. I mean, there's some knitted head covers, but I wanted to make more of a boutique style golf head cover for ladies. So started making them with my grandma, and it was it kind of started out as a hobby, and then ladies were like, oh my gosh, I want some. So word of mouth, and now it is what it is, and we're continuing to put out new designs and hopefully do some wholesaling this year.
nice. So you and your grandmother are just the ones who create the head covers?
At the beginning, yes, it was my grandma and I. My
Okay,
mom now helps as well. And we actually have somebody here in the US that will be outsourcing most of our cutting and sewing to, just because we're trying to scale it and grow it a little bit, and it's too big now for mom, grandma, and I to continue to do on our own.
nice. So just tell me more about your business. So you have the idea, to start a golf head cover business. How did you get to the point where, you're selling all these head covers and, you're actually creating them and, you have your own, business. Just tell me about that, how it went from an idea to now you have your own business with, thousands of followers on Instagram and all that stuff, and you're selling all these head covers. Just, tell me about that, the journey from going from an idea to, actually having your own business.
Hmm. So the idea, well, my inspiration was always, I don't know if you know who Kate Spade is, but she
Okay.
makes, or it's a brand. They do purses and bags and wallets, and it's always very colorful and whimsical. And so that was kind of my inspiration. Well, I want something like that for golf. So that's how it went from an idea, like, how could we, make something cute? Okay, well, let's kind of mimic what Kate Spade is doing as far as the bright colors and just whimsical different designs. And yeah, grandma helped me create a pattern for these head covers. She actually taught me a little bit how to sew. I didn't know how to sew prior to this. And yeah, just started out with an Etsy account where I was selling them on Etsy. Then from Etsy, I had my website and Instagram as well. But yeah, just word of mouth mainly. We've done a couple of tournaments where they're like tea gifts. That's always helpful because it, gets the name out there a little bit quicker when more ladies have these head covers in front of them. So yeah, it's just word of mouth and organic growth.
Nice. Well, good luck continuing with Zalea's. I hope
Thank you.
everything goes well. So outside of, being owner for, Zalea's, golf company, you're also a senior valuation associate with one of the leading real estate firms in the nation. So, just tell me about this and, your current position.
Yeah, so when I interviewed for this company, one of the things was that golf was still a huge part of my life, and I wanted something that was flexible where I could possibly go, because in the back of my mind, I knew professional golf was maybe still there. And so just finding something where I could, continue to work, continue to develop in a career outside of golf, but also have something that I could possibly play golf and do. So just my boss hired me with this in his mind, and we've always worked together on what this would look like in the future. So in the past 18 months, I've been working towards being a certified general appraiser, and it's a pretty strenuous, actually, licensing process. I didn't really know what I was getting into until I was in it. But it's like 7 tests and a state exam. I feel like I'm back in school, but I know once I have this exam completed or this license complete, it'll be something that I can use in the future. So yeah, just, I'm doing commercial appraisals, so a little bit about what I do, and it's like a day in the life of an appraiser. We'll go out and inspect the property, take photos, industrial properties, fast food restaurants, really anything that is commercial. And we'll come back and, do the appraisal part and send our reports out. So it's pretty exciting.
So finally, so as we mentioned, you're gonna be playing on the Women's All Pro Tour this year. But given that you're giving professional golf a go, this year, what do you see for your golf career, going forward, and what do you see also for your career, outside of golf going forward?
I am very hopeful for this year and the next, hopefully 2 years. I'm committing myself for 3 years for professional golf to see where it goes. I think 3 years is a good timeline to see if this is really something that I have in me. Uh, but yeah, just competing on the Women's All Pro this year, and hopefully, I don't know what next year looks like, but continuing to grow Zaleas, and yeah, that's my plan.